Hey guys, so first of all, I apologize if you can hear the fan. It's like 80 degrees right now, which is awesome for April, but it's very hot, so I have the fan sitting like right next to me. Um, so, Dealing with this whole eviction process, I've had some of you guys question why we can't live with my family. Now, my birth dad has passed away, and so obviously that's not an option. My adoptive dad has chosen to say that I am no longer his daughter due to different circumstances from the last time that I went up to my mom's house to visit her and go to the powwow and everything. And so that's not an option. So you guys may be wondering why we can't live with my mom and my stepdad. So I wanted to explain a little bit about that. So when I was 18, I decided to move out of my mom's house. And um, originally, I lived with my godmother for a little bit. And then I moved to Massachusetts. And I've just been on my own ever since. Now, I did live with my adoptive dad for a short period of time around 2008 when my grandpa ended up dying. And that's the last time that I've lived with either of my parents. Now, the reason that my mom has said that I would not be able to come live with her again is because she feels like once you're 18, you're on your own. She does this thing called practicing tough love, and she feels like if you're an adult, you should be able to make your own decisions. You should be able to, handle all of your business on your own without needing your parents' help, which on the one side, I can understand where she's coming from. Like, you want your kids to be able to support themselves and be able to do everything. But on the other hand, like, being somebody who's dealing with that situation, it's hard for me to agree right now because I'm kind of in a really screwed up situation where, you know, I don't really have much of a choice as far as like housing and everything else is concerned because, we're doing our best to keep this house, but we have court tomorrow. And if the judge decides to say that, he doesn't want to give us any more time, there's nothing that I can do to stop that process at this point. We have applied for all of the emergency rental assistance programs that we can, and except for one, which we don't have the ability to because we can't get all of the paperwork that they need as far as documentation goes to prove that we actually need the assistance. Because when my husband was working at McDonald's, they want those pay stubs from McDonald's, and McDonald's paid on a pay card, so he didn't actually get pay stubs. So anyways, that has nothing to do with the topic of this video, but my mom feels like we should be able to live on our own. Like, even when I got divorced, I wasn't able to go back to stay at my mom's house, even for a short period of time. I get the tough love thing, but I feel like with the pandemic and everything that's going on, a lot of people are suffering, a lot of people are going through a hard time right now, and a lot of people are about to be evicted. And, it's rough, like, trying to navigate this whole thing because before this pandemic, let me pause this because Caesar is tearing up a newspaper. Sorry about that. So yeah, with this pandemic and everything, I feel like people should be a little bit more understanding because a lot of people would never have been in this situation if it wasn't for the pandemic. Obviously, there are things that we could have done differently to keep ourselves in a better situation, but there's also things with this situation that are completely out of our hands. Now, we will have a place to stay as far as I know. We did talk to my mother-in-law yesterday and reminded her that we have court tomorrow and that if things go south, we wanted to just confirm that we would be able to stay at her house. And she said as far as she knows, yes. Which we would have to pay rent at her house and everything else. So it is what it is. There's a whole bunch that I don't want to go into as far as that. But my mother feels like um, I just should be able to handle it all. And right now, I'm not working a like consistent job. I do deliver for Shipped, Instacart, and Grubhub, but it's not like consistent. I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, obviously, you have no control over how many orders you get. So it's not necessarily something where I can say, okay, as long as I work this many hours, then I'll get this much money, if that makes sense. So, like I said, I do get where my mom's coming from, but I just wish that she would be a little bit more understanding when it comes to that, because I'm sorry, my mom is commenting on a bunch of stuff on my Facebook right now. I just wish that she would be a little bit more understanding of the situation, and like her parents were the same way, but then again, we didn't have a global pandemic during like the time when my mom was growing up, and they did help my mom a lot. My mom, lived in the same area as her parents their entire lives. Now she moved away from where she grew up, but it just sucks. Like, there's been times where I have been homeless and my mom said that she wishes me the best and that I need to figure out how to get myself out of that situation. So I've ended up staying in homeless shelters and stuff before. I really don't want to go back to that, but like I said, if I don't have a support system, then I really don't have a choice, It's just very hard to deal with because, like I said, I'm struggling to try to start my career as a medical assistant. I do have an update on that, so stay tuned. It's just a lot going on, and like I said, I wish people were a little bit more understanding of the entire situation. At least my mother-in-law seems to be supportive of allowing us to stay at her house as long as we pay rent and stuff. So that takes a little bit of weight off my shoulders, but it's still, frustrating because I don't want to be in this situation at all. So we can't stay with my mom and my stepdad because, like I said, she feels that as adults we should be able to handle life. We should be able to be on our own. And part of that is decisions that I made as an 18-year-old that caused her to, one, not trust me. And that's a long story because there was some stuff that happened with my adoptive dad and I where he accused me of stealing money and his iPod from his house, which I did not steal the money. I did take the iPod, but that was because I was the one that was always using it, and so just me being a stupid teenager, I just took it with me when I moved. And looking back on it now, yes, I should have done things differently. I should have made different choices, but at least I've learned from the things that I've done. And, I just wish that, like I said, I had made different choices, that we weren't going through this decision right now, this situation right now. And sorry, I had a call coming in. I wish that things were different. But anyways, I hope that answers your question as to why we couldn't stay with my family. So I will keep you guys updated on the situation as stuff progresses and unfolds, and I'll talk to you guys again next time.